In the last video, we ported our email signing form to use a model class based on ChangeNotifier. And we have seen that by using ChangeNotifier, we can write model classes that can notify listeners when the data changes. And if we use ChangeNotifier provider, it becomes easy to rebuild widgets when notify listeners is called. In this video, I want to explain the relationship between ValueNotifier and ChangeNotifier, because these two classes are closely related to each other. So if we open up the signing page, then we can find the declaration of this ValueNotifier over here that we use to keep track of the loading state. So if we open the documentation for ValueNotifier, we can discover that this is a class that extends ChangeNotifier, and it also implements ValueListenable, which is an abstract class. And I think the most interesting thing about ValueNotifier is the way that it is implemented. As you can see here, ValueNotifier has a single variable of type t, and then it has a custom setter variable. And what happens when we set the value of a ValueNotifier is that a comparison is made between the previous value and the new value. And if these two values are different, then the value is updated and then notify listeners is called. And what this means is that ValueNotifier is an implementation of ChangeNotifier that works on simple values. But under the hood, they work in the same exact way. And that is that when the value is updated, then notify listeners is called, and we can use this to rebuild our widgets. So ValueNotifier and ChangeNotifier are very closely related, and you might be wondering when should we use one and when should we use the other? And the answer, as it's often the case with state management, is it depends. So if we have just a simple value like a Boolean variable that you can use to update the loading state of a single page, then ValueNotifier is a good solution because it gives us a way to update that variable and be notified of any changes. On the other hand, if we are dealing with more complex model classes, such as the email signing model that we are using for this form, then it might make more sense to use a ChangeNotifier so that you can choose when notifying listeners should be called. And the other advantage of ChangeNotifier is that you can use it with ChangeNotifier provider from the provider package, and this does the right thing for you. In any case, I want to point out that you can choose to use ValueNotifier or ChangeNotifier or even block to move away any logic from your widget classes. And in a lot of cases, this is a good thing because it leads to code that is more modular and more testable. Instead, if you choose to build your own stateful widgets and use setState, then your logic lives together with the UI code in your widget classes. And in some very simple cases, this is an okay thing to do. But if you're trying to build maintainable code, then ValueNotifier or ChangeNotifier can help you out. Okay, so let's continue on the next video.